What's your favorite scary movie?
What's the Boogeyman?
You hang up on me again, I'll gut you like a fish, understand?
It's showtime.
Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. And welcome to the You Can't Kill the Boogeyman podcast. I'm your host, Robby.
And I'm Sammi.
And welcome to Halloween 4, the return of Michael Myers.
Yes. Since last we spoke, we were discussing Halloween 3, which had nothing to do with Michael Myers at all. Literally nothing.
Literally nothing.
He was in it, but not really in it.
Right.
If you recall.
He was more of a byproduct.
Yes. He was advertisement on the TV.
Right.
And had nothing to do with it because that's what
The
John
studio.
Carpenter wanted. Well, no, John Carpenter didn't want to do Michael Myers as a series. He wanted to do standalone Halloween movies.
That's right.
And he no longer got his way.
The studio stepped in
Because people did not like it.
and said, nope, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Do you want to start with a summary?
yeah.
Okay. So 10 years ago, he changed the face of Halloween. Now he's back.
He's back.
Dun, dun, dun. The apparently comatose Michael Myers is being transferred from one hospital to another, but he wakes up when the ambulance crew talk about his surviving niece, Jamie. Twist. After slaughtering his attendants, Myers sets out to find his one living relative who is, fortunately, being cared for by a kind and resourceful foster sister named Rachel. Meanwhile, the ever-cautious Dr. Loomis remains on the killer's path.
Yes, he does.
As always. Always got Dr. Loomis in there, right?
Yep.
And everyone thinking he's crazy. Per usual.
Per the usual, yes.
So this movie, once again, had an R rating, which you would expect for many of these movies.
Yes.
Its genre, once again, we have it under holiday horror, which still will continue to make me laugh a little inside. Director on this one is Dwight H. Little.
Okay.
Director. Producer Paul Freeman. And this movie came out right around Halloween, October 21st, 1988.
All right.
So you were 4 years old.
Yes, I was.
And I was still a very small infant. No, baby.
Yeah.
When are you not an infant anymore? After a year? I don't know.
I have no idea.
I was like just over a year old. So there you go. The movie grossed $6.8 million in its opening weekend. And its overall box office gross in the US was $17.9 million on a $5 million budget.
$5 million budget.
So it did make its money back.
Wow. I mean, that's a hell of a lot of budget than compared to what they had the first film.
It still is kind of funny to think about how much it grew
Yes.
as a franchise.
Very much so.
Its runtime is an hour, 28 minutes, and it was distributed by Anchor Bay Entertainment. Because
Okay.
remember, Universal
gave it up.
was like, what are you guys doing with this when the third one came out? And
Right.
they were quickly like, we'll pass.
We're
Well,
going to
thank
okie
you.
doke you guys.
Until
real
later.
quick.
Until later, they will return. But Anchor Bay Entertainment took this one up. Ratings wise, this one has a 33% critics rating on Rotten Tomatoes with a 53% audience score. And on IMDb, it's a 5.8 out of 10.
Okay.
So it's, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I could.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And this movie was filmed in Salt Lake City,
Utah.
Mhm.
Wow.
home of the Mormons.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I guess, I mean, Salt Lake is like a normal city. So if they have the money, they're going to come through. I'm sure even the Mormons could get jobs on sets.
Maybe.
That's crazy to me that it was
Yeah.
filmed in Salt Lake City.
Yep, that's what they said.
Wow.
Cast. So we're going to hit some of the highlights on this one. We've got Donald Pleasance returning as Samuel Loomis once again. Ellie Cornell was Rachel Carruthers. That was the foster sister that we were just mentioning. Danielle Harris is Jamie Lloyd, very important character in this movie.
Yes.
Michael Myers is played by George P. Wilbur. Once again, switching it up.
Yeah.
Like every movie, it's a different Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Michael Pataki was Dr. Hoffman. So yeah, it's a little bit of change up.
A lot of change
from
up.
the last couple movies. Yeah, I'm not going to go through the whole cast list, but yeah, those are the main people, I feel like.
Yeah,
in the movie.
I would agree with that.
All right, so you want some filming facts?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Series creator John Carpenter wrote a treatment for this film that had a more ghostly psychological approach to the Michael Myers mythos. I'm going to pause here. I think that's very interesting that it was more psychological, because the very controversial final movie in the most recent trilogy, Halloween Kills, no, Halloween Ends. Wow. Halloween Ends. I feel like that was kind of the idea.
Intent.
Yeah, it was like a psychological sort of thing. So
I would agree with that.
I just thought that was interesting, that was the original treatment for this one. So back to this movie. For John Carpenter's version, it concerned the town of Haddonfield and what effect the events of the first two films had on its citizens. This concept was later rejected by producers in favor of the typical slasher fare, at which point Carpenter left the film, making this the first in the series that had no participation from him. So again, I think it's interesting that he did this way back for this movie, and then I feel like that's what kind of came about for Halloween Ends.
He was a producer, though, even though he didn't really participate.
Well, he's
in the
still getting
filming.
money off of this.
Yeah, he's a producer, so I should clarify that.
He still gets money from this, yeah.
Absolutely.
The Michael Myers mask was continually altered throughout production, mostly at the behest of the producers for the film. One day in between takes, a producer asked Horn to make the mask's eyes bigger, and he explained, "There's no way I can widen the eyes and change the filter within 3 minutes of when we're filming, because if we do, the glue would be fresh, and then the actor underneath it would actually faint and fall over and kill himself."
Oof.
That's extreme. So the producer actually relented, and there was no time to safely make the changes that day. However, that was the final straw for the producer, who later fired Horn in front of the entire crew.
Ooh, that would suck.
What he forgot, though, is that a Fangoria magazine writer was actually visiting the set that same day.
Oops.
The writer knew Horn and was sympathetic to the stress that he was under, and went to the producer with an ultimatum: either rehire Horn immediately, or Fangoria will do nothing to help promote the movie at all. So Horn was quickly back on the team, and then the producer was eventually that backed him. There was a producer, Morga, who supported him. That producer was eventually fired for good and replaced with George Wilbur. So yeah, there you go. Fun behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Filming thing is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
This is the film debut of Danielle Harris, who, as we said, plays Jamie, like the most important character in this entire film.
She was involved in 2 Michael Myers.
Yeah, she's in
movies.
The next one as well.
Yeah. I think they should bring her back.
You think?
I think for the next round of sequels,
like continue with this series.
Yeah, with the sequel series, I think they should bring her back.
You never know. They just do whatever they want with Michael. So
right.
Yeah. Due to budgetary reasons, this was the first Halloween film to be shot in the 1.85:1 aspect ratio.
Budgetary reasons?
That's what
they had a
said.
$5 million budget.
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know what to tell you.
Okay.
This film is the first time Michael Myers is credited with his name as opposed to being credited as The Shape.
Oh, really?
I don't know why they did that, though.
I don't know why they did that either.
No.
It's not like he spoke.
Yeah. The film marked the screenwriting debut of Alan B. McElroy. He was previously a fan of the series and reportedly had enjoyed both of the first 2 Halloween films, and he jumped at the opportunity to write a sequel. It took him 11 days to develop the concept and to complete his script. Well,
okay.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah.
The film marked the first time that director Dwight H. Little shot a film under union rules, and he was previously known as a non-union director, and he often used amateur actors.
That makes sense.
Obviously
if you're
not
an
this
amateur.
time. Yeah. Obviously not for this go-around, but I thought that was interesting as well. Alan Haworth, the film's composer, referenced the music score of the original Halloween film, but included a synthesizer twist. I feel like that's a very 80s thing to do.
Very much so.
Honestly, every 80s, everything
Yeah.
had that synthesizer type feel to it.
Yes.
As filming was taking place in March during the springtime, the producers were forced to import leaves and big squash, which they used to create pumpkins by painting them orange, which was also done during the original Halloween, like we had talked about. So they had to do it again.
You don't shoot a movie in October for release in October.
No, that would be a bit difficult.
That would.
A quick editing time.
Very fast.
All right, you want some killer facts?
Let's get some killer facts.
All right, body count on this one, 19, including the dog.
Okay.
That's a little bit up,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
All right, so deaths that we have counted. Attendant Jay Black had a thumb through the forehead. Very fun. L. Evans and 2 paramedics, their bodies were just found in an ambulance crash.
Okay.
Mechanic, he was stabbed with a metal rod. Waitress, her body was found by Loomis.
Yeah.
Bucky was electrocuted to death by a transformer.
Yeah.
Deputy Pierce was found ripped apart. 2 police officers, along with Deputy Pierce, were also found ripped apart, I should say. Ted Hollister was shot to death. Logan and Kelly were found dead by Kelly with blood on his face and stabbed with a shotgun barrel. So,
Wow.
yeah, if you remember, that was pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole bit with the shotgun barrel was pretty gruesome.
For the time period, that was a really gruesome death.
Yeah, so Kelly found Logan and then got it. So Brady's neck was broken. Orrin, Alan, Unger, and Earl were stabbed in the backside and thrown from a moving truck. It's very fun. And neck ripped off for Earl. So yeah, good times.
Yeah.
Good times at the Michael Myers
house.
Yeah. So that Daniel Harris wouldn't be scared, George P. Wilbur, who was our shape in this one, or Michael, he would often lift up his mask between takes to remind her that they were just making a movie and he was not really going to hurt her.
Well, that's nice of him.
Yeah, it was
because
like,
she was very young at this time.
Yeah, she's
Very
a little kid.
young. She actually has a horror podcast.
Oh yeah, she does.
Her and the girl that played in the Rob Zombie Michael
do
Myers
it together, right?
Halloween, they do it together.
Yeah.
I've tried to reach out to them several times to get them on the podcast, but they're hard to get a hold of.
Probably because they're doing their own thing.
Maybe.
Michael doesn't acquire his trademark butcher knife until 1 hour and 9 minutes into the film, and then he only kills 2 people with it. So we always picture him with the knife, but he doesn't really use it in this movie. This was the first Halloween movie with the highest kill count. I said that. With 17 people killed by Michael, until surpassed by Halloween Kills in 2021.
Okay.
Which makes sense because, I mean, Halloween Kills, like, that's in the name. So
yes,
it should be the highest kill count.
Absolutely.
In this film, Michael Myers makes several preparations before starting to hunt down his niece. He disabled Haddonfield's telephone lines, preventing the use of telephones to call for reinforcement. He disabled the electrical power station to create a blackout town-wide, and he uses a surprise attack on the town's only police station to eliminate most opposition to his plans. This version of Michael is depicted as more of a schemer than his previous ones.
You have to admit, Michael Myers is actually pretty smart. Very smart. He knows how to kill people and how to cover his tracks.
I mean, especially in this movie.
Especially, yeah.
Like they said, he used a big planer in this one.
Maybe it's not this one, and maybe it's the next one I'm thinking, but they make the cops, no, it is the next one. Then the next one he comes back, they make the cops look even dumber in that one.
I think so.
Yeah, so.
George P. Wilbur, who we said was cast as Michael Myers for the film, wore hockey pads under his costume so that he would look more physically imposing.
Okay.
That's interesting. Who knew? We do have some horror movie references in this one as well.
Okay.
A scene was filmed to bridge the story with Halloween 2 from 1981. It would have been a flashback to the finale of part 2 with a scene where Loomis is being tended to by paramedics when he sees the burning body of the shape. Loomis would exclaim to the EMS technicians to let him burn, but they obviously don't. They douse the flaming body of Myers despite his pleas. And this moment was actually added to Halloween Kills with Laurie saying the line after she sets her house on fire with Michael trapped at the end.
Right. Let it burn. Let it burn.
So they kind of moved that around. But that would have been the bridge originally to basically explain how Loomis and Michael survived, or show it.
I'm assuming that scene was not in it, though.
No.
They cut it for probably time.
No. Yeah. I'm assuming. Yeah.
I hate that when they actually film things to bridge the gap and then they don't.
And they don't use it. Instead, you're just like, well, how did they survive? You're just supposed to be like, oh, whatever. Yeah. The drugstore set used in this movie was also used in Stephen King's The Stand from 1994.
They do reuse movie sets in Hollywood.
And for his role as Michael Myers, actor George P. Wilbur was often filmed in mirror reflections or off-center. So the audience rarely got a full view of the character to add an air of mystery to him.
I think it worked.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that makes it spookier when it's kind of like crooked, off-center.
Yeah.
It adds to the feel of the movie.
Absolutely.
The death of Brady is a clear nod to the death of Gary from John Carpenter's The Thing, as he's killed by Michael Myers in the same way that The Thing killed Gary. So there you go, another reference to The Thing. Constant John Carpenter movie
John
references.
Carpenter's loves to intertwine his movies.
He's not even part of this movie, and he still gets a reference.
But you can't have Halloween without John Carpenter. He's so iconic to the horror genre itself.
I agree. So special effects on this movie. John Carl Buchler was hired as the film's special effects artist because of his rising reputation for creating great effects for horror films. Within 1988 alone, he provided effects for films Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, and then obviously Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers.
Special effects.
There you go.
Are one of the hardest things to do in a movie. To actually make it look real, you have to give them props. The people that do it, I commend them.
Yeah, it's very cool.
It's very challenging. It's hard. Coming up with different ways.
Yeah.
I mean, man.
I agree. It's impressive.
Very much so.
After viewing a rough edit of the film, it was decided that the movie was too soft, so the producers brought in special effects expert John Carl Buchler for 1 day of extra blood filming. The thumb and the forehead and the redneck's head getting twisted were both done by him. Okay. So I actually brought him in just to do a whole day of just special effects.
To make the movie
gorier,
more exciting. I can see that.
The scene in which Michael kills the mechanic was originally shown with Michael stabbing the mechanic in the throat with a crowbar, but was ultimately cut because it was too gory.
Really?
They're all over the place with this movie, I swear. Literally, just everywhere.
Because when you walk in, he's already dead. You don't see him.
Well, because it was too gory.
Because it cuts. They
added gore to it. It's just.
This isn't the movie with the big white mask, right?
That's the next one.
That's the next one. Yeah.
Yeah, because I have info as to why the mask is a little bit different in the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some general trivia. Danielle Harris actually sold her clown costume to a fan.
Really?
Yeah. Who knew?
That's pretty cool.
And she revealed in 25 Years of Terror that when her character runs through the neighborhood screaming for help, someone legitimately called the cops. I was banging on doors, yelling for someone, help me, after I got lost trick-or-treating or something. So at 4 o'clock in the morning, they're hearing a little girl screaming up the streets, and someone called the cops. The cops came, then the story ended up in the Inquirer that I was almost kidnapped off the set.
That's funny.
But it was just her filming the scene. She wasn't almost kidnapped. There was nothing happening to her.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, you think they would warn these people, like, there's gonna be a little girl screaming for help.
Salt Lake.
At 4 a.m, but it's okay. We're here. We're on set.
Right.
It's crazy. Mike Lookinland, who was Bobby Brady on the Brady Bunch in 1969, was a production assistant. His wife, Kelly, played the dead waitress.
Bobby from the Brady Bunch.
This was a random thing.
That is very random. Everybody's interconnected in Hollywood.
Yep.
I mean, once you actually start working, once you're on, you'll always be on.
Yep. There you go. So he was a production assistant. Jamie Lee Curtis reportedly had no interest in reprising her role as Laurie Strode. So the fourth film's leading female character of Jamie Lloyd was developed and made to be her daughter in replacement, essentially, for Jamie Lee Curtis. Laurie herself was supposedly killed in a car accident 11 months before the events of the film.
But they quickly undo that, as they do in the Halloween series. Oh, we're just kidding.
It depends what movie you're watching.
And what timeline.
Yep, exactly. Oh my gosh. All right. So, who did I say? Oh, and then the writer, Alan B. McElroy, he was the state trooper at the ambulance crash site around 16 minutes into the film.
That's
so
cool.
He made his own cameo.
That's very cool.
Why not, if you're going to write on the movie?
Why not?
All right, so I have some quotes for you. Not a lot of quotes, honestly, for these movies, because it's just more like watching Michael stab people and kill them. That's the main premise. So, but I did save some quotes. So Sheriff Meeker says, "How could a man do this, Loomis? Tell me." And Dr. Loomis says, "This isn't a man." Sheriff Meeker says, What is he? Tell me. What the hell are we dealing with?" And Dr. Loomis says, "Evil."
Evil. Yeah.
Pretty good summary, Michael. So then there's an attendant who says, "I'd assume Dr. Loomis would be here. Michael Myers is still his patient." And then Dr. Hoffman replies, "If Loomis read memos, he'd be here. Fortunately, his position is more ceremonial than medical. And with Myers gone, my hope is that he'll either transfer, retire, or die." That's so terrible.
Yeah. Very much so.
Loomis. But guess what? He holds on. He makes it through. So doesn't Dr. Hoffman die? Wasn't he one of the people that was killed in this?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
I think he was.
I think so. Yeah.
I can't remember for sure. I'm trying to see if I have it listed. Maybe not.
If you know, let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, but he should have died regardless because he's rude. All right. So
because he's rude, he should die.
So
that's a direct quote from the Boogeyman podcast.
Before I ask you the trivia question, so don't look at that. What do you want to say about your feelings on this movie?
It was an all right Michael Myers.
Okay.
I can see the ratings how they are. I mean, every film in the franchise is iconic, but I can understand how it got its ratings, and I would agree with it.
Yeah, I agree with the ratings. The concept is interesting, having this little girl be chased by Michael, and then the ending of the film, that's when she stabs her stepmother, right?
Yes.
And they show her, and she's like, did she
kill
her, or she just stabbed her? I feel like the mother didn't die, did she?
No, she didn't die.
Okay, so she stabbed her.
Because Michael Myers touched her at the end of it.
Yeah.
And then they transferred some of his evilness in.
Except they build all this up at the end of this movie.
And
then the next one just
fizzles out.
Just wanders off. And
they didn't use the momentum they build up at the end of this to carry on to the next one.
No, I feel like there was a lot of story building and potential that then they just disregard going forward.
Absolutely. I would agree with that.
Yeah. And I mean, whenever you have a movie that's trying to set up a new storyline, it takes time sometimes for that. So I can forgive it a little bit for that, but not for what they did after.
Right. It could have been a far better movie.
Yeah. I just, with Jamie Lee not coming back, I get it. You need to have something else going on, I guess, to make Michael come back. So I understand what they were trying to do, especially with her not having any interest in returning at this time to the movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It wasn't the best.
No, I understand.
No, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's a good slasher movie. If you just want to watch Michael kill people,
I mean,
good. Like I said, the shotgun thing was pretty good.
One of the better, I know we're not there yet, was H2O. Michael Myers H2O.
Was that the one with
Josh Hartnett?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we're not there yet.
No, I can't keep all these stupid movies.
We'll get there soon, but I like that that's one of the better Michael Myers movies.
It's better than this one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, not just because Jamie Lee is back. I think it was better.
I mean, I think Danielle did a great job.
Oh yeah,
I think she got a break for these two movies. Again, she's still working. She has her own podcast.
Yeah.
If you can remember what the podcast is, please comment in the comments below. I think their audio is terrible. When I listen to it, I'm just like,
You should not badmouth another podcast.
I'm not trying to, but
you kind of are though.
But from a technical standpoint,
Oh my
I'm just
goodness.
like, dude, your audio is killing me. But if you can remember it,
Oh my gosh.
say it in the comments
I'm
below.
sure I will just add it to the show notes.
Yes,
for you.
we'll add a link to it.
Yeah, since you're bashing it so much.
I'm not bashing it.
Oh my
I'm a fan of
gosh.
their podcast. We listen to it as well.
Anyways, so overall, I think generally the storyline on this is not particularly memorable.
Right.
Is part of the problem too, is it's like, you kind of remember parts of it, but there's nothing in this that stuck out to me quite as much
No, I agree.
as some of the other movies do.
I agree.
So it's a good one to turn on in the background.
Yeah, it's good to pass out candy to on Halloween. You're not going to miss much.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, but just don't have it on where the children can see.
Right.
It's a bit violent for that.
Right. It's good if you want to just see Michael Myers kill people.
Yeah.
That and Halloween Kills.
Yeah, don't pay too much attention to the storyline because it really doesn't matter
You know it doesn't.
at the end of the day.
Nothing actually carries over into another movie. It's just all self-contained.
Yeah, so yeah. All right, do you want to do some trivia?
Let's do some trivia.
Okay. So Jamie Lloyd is holding what at the end of Halloween 4? You
A
kind of
knife.
just talked about this. No. She did not stab her with a knife.
She had the clown.
She does have her clown outfit on, but she's not holding a knife.
I don't know.
She used scissors.
That's
To
right.
stab
It
her
was
foster
scissors.
mother. Yes.
That is scissor. That's
yeah,
right.
Not like Michael. She switched it up. She used some scissors.
That's right. I do remember now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Didn't Dr. Loomis want to shoot her too?
Yes.
I forgot about that.
He was
I
down
just
in there.
Remember that.
And she tries to stab her.
And he's like ready to shoot her, and the
Right.
cop's like, no.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
That probably would have been a bad take to shoot a child, but
Right.
I understand the thought.
Yeah.
Oh, Dr. Loomis, Okay, so Dr. Loomis sees and shoots Michael Myers where in Halloween 4? And it was just him and just Michael. Where did they have like a little showdown?
Wasn't in the tried to shoot him. He was at the gas station.
It was a gas station.
What,
yes.
didn't he try to shoot him in the head?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
Dr.
thought.
Loomis.
But he
he's
must
not
be
very
a
good
terrible
at shooting Michael
shot.
Myers. He's shot him a lot and not done a great job. So,
You're right.
although Michael can't really die, so there's that point.
Right.
Anyway. All right. And then if you'll remember, Dr. Loomis was kind of ditched then along the side of the road.
Right.
And he needed to hitch a ride.
With the priest.
With a reverend, yes. Close
Yes.
enough. Yes. Mhm.
Priest, reverend,
Because
yeah.
the cheerleaders made
They
fun
were-
of him.
they
They
were
pretend
gonna
like they were
pull
going
over,
to stop, and then
And then they just kept going.
it's very mean to Dr.
Children.
Loomis.
Children
Very
do
rude.
that. But yeah, he got a ride with the priest.
Yeah.
The priest was kind of weird though.
Huh.
But look at Dr. Loomis. He's
Dr.
weird
Loomis
as
is
well.
very weird to pick up along the side
Would
of the road.
you, honestly, if you're driving by and you saw a man like that, would you pick him up?
No,
Neither would I.
I would not.
I'd be like, well, you can call a cab.
I think because of a lot of horror movies, I wouldn't pick up anybody along the side of the road unless I specifically knew the person.
No, I agree with
You
that.
know, like it's you, Ashley,
I'm not gonna
someone
lie.
I personally
like,
know.
I agree with that.
Mhm.
I'm not picking up any hitchhikers.
No,
I'm sorry, but
these
bro.
movies have taught you otherwise.
Yeah, that's how accidents happen.
Don't pick up the hitchhiker. Don't open your door in the middle of the night. No,
Yep.
there's lots of things you should learn from these movies not to do.
You're right.
Mhm.
So that wraps up Halloween 4.
Not memorable.
Not memorable.
It's all right.
It keeps bleeding over to the next one. That's why
It does.
keeps popping in my head.
Yeah,
I mean, that's why I'm just saying this isn't too memorable.
it's really not.
But
It's just not a. It's okay.
The next one is the Curse of Michael Myers.
Yes, I believe so.
Yes.
But I don't think this is the worst one in the franchise, which I guess at some point we'll have to rank them when we get to the ends of these.
What we
I would
did
put
with
this
Scream.
at the very bottom, but it definitely is not a memorable movie.
Right.
Yeah.
If you guys want to rank your top movies in the franchise, in the Halloween franchise,
Let us
where
know.
would you rank each film?
Mhm.
Let us know.
Yeah, we'll be getting there in a while when we get to
And we'll make a
the
comment.
end. I guess what we should do is rank. Maybe we can do like a ranking of the series.
Yeah.
The timeline. Maybe that would be easier to do than the 10,000 movies that the franchise contains.
We'll do this on our YouTube channel. We'll do the poll on our YouTube.
Yeah, we can do a YouTube video about it. And
I'm not saying a YouTube video. We can do a video, but I'm just saying I can do polls.
I don't know how to do the YouTubes.
So definitely, if you're not subscribed to Limitless Broadcasting's YouTube channel, like and subscribe and turn on all the notifications.
He does lots of live videos on weird shit. So
yeah, I do.
Not all of it is weird.
Super
weird. It's different.
It's different kind of content. So if you're interested in that,
check it out.
Like the other day, we talked about CERN.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talked about glitches in the Matrix and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a big fan of that, head over to our YouTube channel. So we have some exciting news. We just released our newest podcast on our YouTube channel. It's called...
The audio should be out, if it's not out yet, very shortly.
It's called The Amateur Stoner.
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever tuned into The Painful Truth of Living with Chronic Pain, we've had Phil on.
Yes. And
Phil is a chronic pain survivor, patient, I should say.
Yeah.
And this is his podcast.
Yep.
So if you want to check it out, it's only available right now on our YouTube channel. So go check that out.
Well, as I said, the audio may be out now.
Wow. When we release this, the audio will be out. So
hopefully I'll get my life together and have it edited and out.
You'll be able to find that in all the major podcast platforms.
Yep.
But it's the Amateur Stoner.
Amateur Stoner. It has a cat in the photo, so you'll know you have the right one.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to shout out?
No.
No.
Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, for more of the storyline. Yeah. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You Can't Kill the Boogeyman podcast is produced and hosted by Robby and Sammi Brooksby as part of the Limitless Broadcasting Podcast Network. Post-production and intro by Sammi Brooksby. Follow the show on Instagram at BoogeymanPod. You can also follow the Limitless Broadcasting Company at Limitless Broadcasting and your horror hosts at Robert 1950 Studios and at The Samalam. We also have a TikTok at 1950 Studios. Email your creepy comments and spooky suggestions to us at boogeymanpod@gmail.com. Don't forget, everyone is entitled to one good scare. Have a horrific week.